Hi, welcome back to my channel. Obviously, I've been struggling a little bit to put out content on here. Long form content just takes so much longer, so I thought we would do a 2-book reading vlog. And in that vlog, I will be reading the highest rated book on my TBR as well as the lowest book on my TBR. I know a few people have done this. Most recently, I saw Books with Lexi do it, but I'm really excited. I think it should be fun. I don't know what those books will be, and I have a few caveats. I'm not reading Brandon Sanderson. I know on Goodreads I have Brandon Sanderson on my TBR. I'm not reading anything that isn't out yet. Let's start with the highest rated book. And obviously, like, these ones aren't out yet. Like, would I love to read The Last Contract of Isako for this vlog? Obviously I would, but not that one. I love that people are pre-rating all of these books 5 stars because, like, yeah. Like, I have The Works of Vermin on my Kindle right now, but that feels, like, disingenuous. And also, I would love for an audiobook to be an option for one of these books. I said no Brandon Sanderson. 2025. And, okay, I have already read The Butcher's Masquerade. So I don't know why that's on my to be read. I'm really bad at updating Goodreads, that's probably why, but it was really good. A lot of these are actually on my Kindle because I can't say no to an ARC. But okay, I also can't read The Dark Mirror because I haven't read the first book in the series. Like, I'm not reading an entire series to get this book. Like, Sunrise on the Reaping is out. Haven't read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes first, and I don't know if you necessarily need to, but I want to. I've already read A Drop of Corruption. Okay, so technically The Name of the Wind is higher than Project Hail Mary. I've also already read The Raven Scholar, but I don't know when The Name of the Wind is going to be finished. So we're gonna do Project Hail Mary. That's gonna be the pick. It's 4.5 stars. That's still really high for almost like virtually a million ratings, and it's 4.5 stars. That's insane. I will be reading that. Yes, that's the pick for highest rated. All right, now let's flip it and do lowest rated. And it has to be on my shelves because I'm trying to read my physical TBR, so that's also part of it. So a lot of these are 0 because they're not out yet. There's just no ratings. Meet the Dark is 2.78. Yeah, I just don't have any of these. Okay. Like, a lot of these are on my TBR. They're just not on my shelves. I just finished the Pallbearers Club, and I gave that 5 stars. It's 3.09. That's insane. And everyone else is wrong, actually. Youth Juice I've also already read, and that one I kind of get, to be honest. None of these are on my oh, I guess we're reading Womb. I guess I'm finally reading Womb at 3.23 stars. I guess I could tell you what they're about. I guess we'll start with Womb since I'm already here. This is a splatterpunk book, so I'm not super surprised, like a splatterpunk horror, that it's so low. Like, that just makes sense. This is about a serial killer who is at a motel and is kind of just like recounting all of the deeds that they've done. So, and it's itty bitty. Let me grab that. There's also realistically not an audiobook for this, but that's fine because I feel like it's like 100 pages. 129. Am I a little scared? Yeah, but this is also one of the first books that I put on my TBR when I first started getting into book talk, because a lot of the stuff that I started seeing was horror, actually, versus like romantasy, which I think is kind of interesting, but I am really excited about this. And then, highest rated is Project Hail Mary, and I think that this is about a guy that is stranded on a spaceship. And a lone astronaut, an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. So, I am in my sci-fi era. I'm enjoying my sci-fi. How many pages is this one? Almost 500, but I am going to be consuming this on audiobook because I've heard the audiobook is incredible. It's super good. So these are the 2 picks. I think what would be the most fun in terms of like reading order is, because this is so small, to just like insert this when I am halfway done with this book. I don't know if that's going to set this one up for success or if it would make more sense to read this first, but I think that's what we're going to do. So I am going to start with Project Hail Mary. It's a 16-hour audiobook, but I usually listen at 2x. So if the narration's not like too fast, then I should be able to get it done in 8 hours. And that's not too bad. I don't know if I'll read any of this physically. I am just really excited to consume the audiobook. And I will give you my thoughts once I'm a couple hours into the audiobook. Okay, I've been doing laundry and listening to Project Hail Mary. It's going very well so far. We're following a nameless man. He can't remember his name, woke up from a coma. The two people that are next to him are presumably dead and is being taken care of by this robot. And he is both smarter and dumber than I want him to be. He is figuring things out based off of what like comes naturally and what he remembers. Like he thought of something in units of feet instead of like meters or any kind of like non-Americanized unit. And so he's like, oh, I'm probably American or this or this. And I just like never would have thought of that. But he also, it took him a long time to figure out he's in space. Obviously, we know he's in space, so that's probably part of it. But he's like very perceptive and like his critical thinking skills are up here. But he also doesn't remember who he is, where he is, or why he's in this. What I'm guessing is a spaceship. And he's trying to figure it out based off of what is in the ship and where he can go. He also feels very weak, partly from being in a coma, but he's also like super buff, like bodybuilder buff, and trying to figure that out. I'm liking it so far. It's just mostly his internal monologue. He's gotten one little like brief flash of the past of his past, and that's all we've gotten so far. I'm assuming we're gonna get more flashes of that while he skedaddles around the ship. Like we don't know what his goal, his intention is for being here. And I'm excited to find out with him. I think that this is a really fun way to world build when the character is learning as you are and you are not like super omniscient. That's my preference. So really liking the writing so far and just the way that the story is being told. And I'm excited to continue. I'm like 2 hours into the audiobook, which is like 15%, not super far, but yeah, I will definitely give at least one more update before I switch to Womb. I was just doing some editing while listening to Project Hail Mary, and it's been a lot of info dumping. I'm not totally loving this part of it. He's kind of remembering who he is. He was a middle school science teacher, but he also was working on the science of these things called astrophages, and it seems like it's this alien microorganism, and it has the potential to produce power, specifically like rocket power, but it is also affecting the Earth getting the sun's energy. It's like a super minuscule amount. However, it would like in the next 30 years decrease the Earth's temperature by 10 degrees, which would be bad. Like things would die off, people would go hungry, that kind of thing. But he is doing like research, super top secret research for this, and also is just like a great middle school science teacher. But we are learning about a lot of the science of these astrophages. He was trying to prove that this microorganism didn't need water to survive, so it would be like the first living thing that water isn't necessary to. However, they are. But they are also pretty much every like scientific agency and every like country that is a leader in science is trying to figure these things out, and he is for some reason figuring these things out. And we're learning about like the start of Project Hail Mary, this mission that he is currently on. We're learning about this part, and like he's over here, so he and us are still confused about the middle of it. And it's been a lot about the actual hard science of everything. Obviously, this hard science doesn't exist, but it's been about the hard science and the logistics of everything. It's been a little dry. It's not been as dry as the three-body problem, and I still really like the three-body problem, but like if you have zero interest in science, it might not be for you. But I think we might be moving away from that because now we're back more to like present day and what he's doing. But he's also just kind of like going through the grief process of these people that were on the ship that are no longer alive. And he also doesn't know how people are doing on Earth anymore because I think it's been like something like 26 years since he left. So he must have been in some kind of cryo state because he's also like buff in theory. And I'm interested to see where it goes. It's been a little dry. I'm hoping that it picks up. But it could still be a really like solid 4-star. I don't know that it'll be a 5-star, but obviously if things change, if we get really quirky with it, then maybe it'll be a 5-star. But that's kind of the update. I don't know if he'll be alone the whole time. I am pretty sure that there's not really many more characters than him. It's mostly just like his internal monologue, but we'll see. I also have to run some errands, so this will be good to have as an audiobook, but I am not at the 50% mark, but approaching it, so we are going to take a pause for Womb after the next update, more than likely. It is officially time to switch to Womb because I am halfway through Project Hail Mary, but before we get to this, I must discuss where I am so far. We finally have met Rocky, and my book club, my IRL book club that I run and host, actually read this, and I didn't read it when they read it, and now I'm very sad that I didn't do that because I am enjoying it more than the last time I talked to you. And they talked about Rocky a lot, and I kind of like tried to tune them out because I knew I was going to read this eventually, and I didn't want like too bad of spoilers. But we did read it for book club, and I wanted everybody to talk about it. So we just met Rocky, and I already love Rocky, and if anything bad happens to Rocky, I will be devastated. But he got like a signal or something from another ship. It was like a light, and it like flashed 3 times, and then he flashed back at it, and I was like, oh my god, why are we immediately trying to communicate with them? That feels very scary. But like, he brought up, what else is he gonna do? He's on a suicide mission. He's probably gonna die anyway. What does it really matter at this point? And the little flash of hello obviously felt friendly, and it sent something over to him, and it was kind of like a where are you from type of situation. And then they finally like connected more than just like flashing and waving at each other. And there was a bridge that the alien ship connected to his ship, and it felt very stressful. But then it was like this big metal spider type of situation, but it's like a living organism, and it started communicating with them. And I do think that the reason that the audiobook is recommended so often is because of the way that Rocky communicates. It's kind of like these chords or beeps. Ryland compared it to like the sound a whale makes, but they started kind of just like gesturing to each other as one would when you don't speak the same language. But then Ryland started building something with 2 computers to start building like a lexicon of language between the 2 of them. And I just thought that that was so cool. That's been like my favorite part of the book so far, is the way that they are bridging the gap between their languages. I feel like with a lot of sci-fi books that's just like not really how it works, or I haven't seen that before, so that I'm really, really enjoying. And they are starting to learn more things about each other. Like, Ryland has discovered that Rocky can't actually see. It's like this super advanced form of echolocation, and then Ryland had to explain sight to him, and that was really cool. And we found out that Ryland's crew, Rocky's crew, also all died, so they're all alone together, which is just super tragic. And they're both looking for the same thing, this microorganism that is kind of like destroying both of their suns and both of their life planets. So now they're working together to kind of figure that out and also just like learn more about each other. It's very cool. But we're also getting flashbacks of Ryland's time on Earth before Project Hail Mary took off, and it's just like how they're going to counteract what this is going to do to Earth's like ecosystem and atmosphere while Ryland is gone trying to figure this out. And I think that it's so cool and interesting. One thing that I don't really understand yet is why he had to go to do this testing. That I don't understand, but the rest of it is really cool, and we're kind of learning more about all the people that he interacted with on Earth. It doesn't really seem like he had much in the way of family. He wasn't like married, he didn't have kids. He has his kids that he taught, his middle school kids, but not like anybody else. And he also, in one flashback, when this first got announced, was like explaining in graphic detail what this is going to do to Earth. And I'm like, why are you telling this to 12-year-olds? And he finally caught himself, and they were obviously all stressing out, and he's like, oh, this isn't really going to take effect until 30 years from now. And obviously when you're 12, that feels like a lifetime. That feels like forever. But they're going to be like in their early 40s when their life is basically going to be over. And that's not old. You still have so much life left to live. At least most of them would. And a few of them are spouting off things like clearly just like parrots of their parents, and it's really funny. Like one of them clearly didn't believe in climate change and that kind of thing, and one of them knew far too much, very like doomsday-ish. And it's just like very interesting going back and forth. I'm very much more invested in any storyline where Rocky is involved, but I'm a little bit more interested in like the flashbacks now. They're not as like jarring or irritating to go back. And obviously I'm stressed for Ryland and Rocky. I would need them to be okay. I'm interested to see how their friendship will grow. I need them to be besties forever. And I'm very stressed for them. I do feel like something bad is going to happen to Rocky. I think that there's no way that that can't be. It's going very well so far. I'm about halfway done, and now we are going to switch to Wound. There is just a little blurb on the back of this of a little section of the book, I believe. So I'm going to read that to you so you can kind of get like the gist of what's going on. I believe pain lingers, Angel said. Do I believe in spirits, in the supernatural? Probably not. The lonely motel holds many dark secrets, and room 6 just might possess the worst of them all. Angel knows all about pain. His mother died in this room. He's researched its history. Today he's come back to end it, no matter the cost, once and for all. Shyla, a plus-size prostitute, thinks the stories Angel tells her can't be true. Secrets so vile you won't want to let them inside you. But the lonely motel doesn't forget, it doesn't forgive, and it always claims its victim. This is an extreme horror novel. I think that it would be considered splatterpunk. I'm wondering if I should just video myself reading all of it. Oh, there are actually chapters to this. That's worrying. Not that many pages to this. But I'm going to probably read the first chapter. I might update you actually every chapter and see how that goes. And then if I feel the need to record myself, maybe after for the first couple I will. Okay, I'll be back. Hello. I have not updated you every chapter. I am 4 out of 7 chapters in. I've read Room 6, Cramps, Prolapse, and Womb. Let me give you a little rundown. Room 6, just kind of an intro. We're following Angel, who is a man, and Shyla, his prostitute that he ordered. And they're just getting to know each other. They have this sort of banter, this repertoire that they're setting up. And then he asks her if he can tell her a story. He tells her Cramps, a story of a man and a woman. The woman becomes addicted to heroin. She gets in trouble monetarily with the drug dealer, so they become drug mules. But it goes wrong and a balloon bursts inside of her. But our guy Johnny, who I think is also Angel, completes the thing and decides he has a vendetta against this drug dealer now for killing his girlfriend, essentially. And then we move on to Prolapse, where Angel is telling this story. They are doing what a client and a prostitute do. This is about Johnny getting back at the drug dealer. Johnny signs up the drug dealer for an adult film where a lot of people are involved with one woman, and they set him up with this woman who has red dye and food coloring shoved up somewhere, and essentially a prank. Drug dealer doesn't want this video to go out, so pays hush money, and Johnny is revenged, I guess. And at the end of the chapter, the title happens. I'm gonna have to say too many things and get too graphic here. Womb has been the worst story by far. They are still committing the act while this is happening, and all of this stuff has happened in Room 6, by the way. But this is where a pregnant woman dies after trying to solve her pregnancy. It was very graphic. I really didn't like that one. I haven't loved any of these. As one watches a train wreck, unable to look away. I do think I'll finish this just because it is so short. I'm almost done. And now we're finally on to Shyla getting to tell a story. And this is called Smother. I guess I'll update probably when I'm done. I don't really feel like updating after every chapter, but I do hope to finish this tonight. Mostly because I want it to be over, to be totally honest. It was sure a book that I sure finished. I don't think that I would recommend this to anybody. I don't think that I liked it. I don't think that you should like this book. I don't want to read this, to be totally honest, so I'm not going to. This was weird and like shock value horror for shock value horror's sake. I have not read a lot of like splatterpunk horror, to be fair, and this didn't bother me as much as Exquisite Corpse did, but I think that I liked Exquisite Corpse more. I guess that's my rating. I don't know. I understand why the rating is so low. Like, this is a lot, honestly, but it's not the worst thing that I've ever read in terms of being disgusting. So yeah, I guess I'm excited to get back to Project Hail Mary. Wow, what what an interesting TBR for a video, huh? I don't have a lot more to say, so I'm probably actually going to bed, and then I will finish Project Hail Mary tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. I'm working and I thought I would do a really quick update. I probably was not very articulate last night. That womb, oh my god. A birthing scene between two adults is just maybe not for me. Maybe that's not a book that I would like to be reading. Noted for hopefully not next time, but for next time. Second thing, I am farther into Project Hail Mary. Let me tell you how far. How far that would be. For some reason, Audible doesn't tell you percent, and it's just the worst audiobook app ever. But I'm that far, and I am to the point where Rocky and Ryland have had like a crash of sorts. They were trying to sample air from a planet in order to save both of their planets, and also Ryland has figured out that Rocky's species physics is wrong, and that's why they have so much extra fuel. But because they have so much extra fuel, Ryland could, in theory, go back to Earth, which it basically has saved his life, which is crazy. But they've crashed. I don't know if Rocky's okay. I'm very stressed about it. I need Rocky to be okay, because he is my favorite character. I would be fine if Ryland died, to be honest, but I need Rocky to be okay. And Ryland is now trying to do science things with the totally messed up lab, and also save Rocky. So it's just kind of a lot of like stressful figuring things out, because their friendship is so beautiful. Like, Ryland also figured out that Rocky saved him, and he's like, why would he save me? Like, you guys are friends, you idiot. He loves you. Man, I'm excited to continue. I'm really loving it now that we're not getting so many like science heavy flashbacks. So I will update you at least one more time before I'm done. I'm assuming it'll be a good update. No, everybody needs to be okay. I'm so stressed. I'm finished with Project Hail Mary, and I really did like it. It's not going to be a 5-star book for me, though. Let's talk about the ending of the book. So I think from where we left off, we figured out that Rocky and Ryland are okay, and they started figuring out a solution to the astrophage problem by kind of giving this anti-microorganism called tau, and it just basically then negates the astrophages. But once they figure all this out, and then they have to leave each other, and it's so sad, and like Ryland doesn't even know if there's anything left for him on Earth anymore, and it just made me really upset. And Rocky was like, well, why can't we visit each other? What do you mean? Because their lifespan is hundreds of years. But Ryland would pretty much be dead by the time he could see Rocky again. And that was easily the saddest part of this book for me. I felt so much for them. I love their friendship. I love a kind of goofy friendship. It just always gets me in books. But then Ryland figures out that because of the way that they did this like scientific experiment, the container that is holding these taus actually won't hold them because of the way that he kind of bred and genetically modified them. So now he has to make this decision of whether he tries to go save Rocky or tries to save humans. But the choice he makes is, to me, the most predictable choice, and I thought the ending was kind of cheesy. I didn't hate it, but I just thought it was a little bit too cheesy for me, and I'm going to give this 4.5 stars for that reason and just like a couple other little things. But other than that, I really did like it. I would almost call this cozy sci-fi. This is cozy sci-fi. This is the same level as Becky Chambers for me. So if you're looking for something and you're worried about this being like too high stakes, like is there high stakes? Yes, but it still feels cozy to me. All in all, I think that this was a fun vlog to film. However, I probably could have gone my whole life without reading this book. So there's that. I agree with the ratings. I agree with the average ratings for this one. In theory, I could do this until my physical TBR is gone. That might be kind of fun. Leave me any kind of space emoji for Project Hail Mary, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!